it always says this in the safety announcements. If there's a drop in cabin pressure, the oxygen masks will come down. Then it says something really interesting. Put your own on first. The word inspire means to breathe life into. You'll work with young people in a variety of different contexts, some of them with incredibly difficult, challenging backgrounds. And you know what? We've got to try and breathe a bit of life and hope and inspiration into them. But the reality is, sometimes people, situations, traffic, circumstances, politics, bureaucracy can suck the life out of you. Can anybody relate to that? Yeah? And so what SUMO is about in many ways is saying this. Dave is going to really help us understand how do we engage children with this. But the SUMO program is not specifically designed just to look at children in isolation and young people. It's saying this is for all of us on our journey. And it's about realising we're in a much better position to help others if we make sure we put our own oxygen mask on first before we help others. In 2002 I started using this phrase SUMO. And you need to be aware that SUMO in its original form does not stand for stop, understand, move on. It doesn't stand for that. In its original form it doesn't. It stands for this: shut up, move on. That's the title of the book. That's what I developed. And some people love that phrase, and some people get a little bit sensitive about it. It's not meant to be aggressive, but you know what? I think there's times in life when I need to shut up my moaning about stuff that ain't going to change and just move on and deal with it. Sometimes I think I need to shut up my excuses and realise I've got one shot at this life, so let's move on and grasp it for all it's worth. And sometimes I think I need to shut up that voice of self-doubt that's telling me why I can't do stuff and just move on with a little bit more self-belief. Thinking is a bit like breathing. Because most of the time, we're not even consciously aware that we're doing it or the impact it has on us. How I think affects how I'm feeling or my emotions. How I'm thinking and feeling can start to influence my actions and my behaviour. And over time, those actions are going to bring about certain results. Those of us alive and living in the Western world will live longer, healthier, safer lives. Whatever you read in the media, that is actually a fact. Longer, healthier, wealthier lives. And yet, the rate of stress, anxiety, worry and depression are on the rise. That's interesting. But when you're out of your comfort zone, here's two things to be aware of. Number one, you need support. And it's not just children who need support, adults need it as well. When I set up SUMO for schools, I don't have a background in education. I've never been a teacher. My home is not working with teenagers. I went way out of my comfort zone. What did I do? I got people involved in working with young people to help me develop this material. Here's the first type of faulty thinking. I simply refer to it as the inner critic. The inner critic. The inner critic is the voice inside your head and my head that can highlight your weaknesses and it can undermine your confidence. SUMO is not going to patronise kids and adults and go, come on, let's be positive. Because I know deep down that we have a question. I call it the YBH question. Come on, let's be positive. Yes, but how? How can I shut up or at least turn the volume down on some of that faulty thinking and move on to develop some fruity or fruitful thinking? We just want to stop and understand or shut up. We want to move on. And sometimes that means moving out of your comfort zone. But life does not reward good intentions. Life rewards action.